Hello Internet, welcome to another vlog style update video. We're going to be playing a little bit of Sega here. I'm in the Sega game room. I forget what this is called, Sega Genesis whatever collection on Steam. And I thought we would play some Sega games to shake things up instead of playing more Handulum. I don't know what to play. Probably Streets of Rage is my go-to. I like the Sega and grew up playing Sega, but I don't know. Streets of Rage 2 is just so good. So I think we'll probably play that. The thing with these collections, right? They build these emulators like this, and you think like, oh man, this will be really great. I can get every Sega game that's ever been released. And then the reality is that because of the third party, attitude of making games back then, they don't have the rights to a lot of things. So, for instance, one of my favorite Sega games was Zombies Ate Your Neighbors, or Ate My Neighbors. I'm not sure actually, which of course was made, I believe, by LucasArts, and so they don't have the rights to add that to a collection like this. Same with what's that game called? Shadow of the Beast 2 was one of my favorites when I was a kid. It's just a really unique game that is very interesting, pretty simplistic as far as things go. I think it's on the Amiga as well, but because of right issues, they could not add something like that to this collection. So you end up with kind of the basics that show up in these over and over, which is like Sonic and Streets of Rage, Golden Axe, those kind of games. Anyway, let's just play. I am using my new controller for the first time, I think, on the channel since I bought it back around Black Friday. Anyway, the goal today is just to talk about my life as per usual. Grab the secret 1-up. Oh, that's the wrong button. Okay. Yeah, controller layouts are different, obviously, from back in the day when they were on Sega. Hopefully the controller as well is not super clicky. It is new, so I imagine it might be a little loud. Anyway, yeah, so I thought I would make another little update video. Can I make this full screen? Pause that. Exit. Full screen. Okay, that's kind of huge and pixely, but that'll be all right. So yeah, just general life update as per usual, trying to keep these going. I never did make a playlist for these. I think I will this week. So yeah, last week, man, it's just been, honestly, it's been kind of a terrible week. Which like is funny because last week I actually felt pretty good. I was doing pretty well. I think I told you I got my raise, so that should be hitting my books this week, I guess. Should be the first week when I get a paycheck that has my new raise on it, so that'll be really exciting. I've been living very much at zero lately. Like, some people, you go a month and you manage to put a little money back, or maybe you go into debt a little bit. I've been operating basically at zero, where I don't gain or lose anything every month, but I'm pretty much just stagnating. And then, as things come up, like I'm going to have some car repairs. I need a new car seat and some things. When you're working at an equilibrium and then suddenly you have a big expense, well, now you're back several $100s and you're not going to earn that money back because you've been earning zero, basically being able to put away zero. So I'm a little concerned about that. The raise should help with that. Once I get the raise, I should be able to start putting back money every month, which would be great because I'm trying to save things up. And then, of course, the stimulus stuff is in the air. Who knows? We might be getting another $1,400 check here in the near future, which will help me out a lot. Not to get political, but I don't think that's enough. I think that there are a lot of people right now who are dealing with a lot. $1,400 just doesn't seem like it's going to do it. One of the worst economic situations in history. Like, people keep saying too, like, all the economics are fine. It's like, no, they're really not. Even if the economy from like the Wall Street, stock market type perspective, even if that's doing okay, the average person is not doing well right now. And it's just not enough. And I don't even mean for me. I just mean in general. I think people need more support. And even if you're against like socialist type programs where, you don't believe the government should help people in this sort of situation, and this is just how the market works, and this is just the facts of life. And even if you believe that, it's the worst economic situation we've seen in a long time. And I just think that you should have a little understanding. Let's not talk about it, right? This is not something we should talk about. So $1,500 checks, $1,400 checks should probably be on the way in the near future, and so that will be nice as well. My family member keeps bringing up that he thinks we should get a new car and get rid of my vehicle, which I hate. I love my car, and I hate the idea of giving up my vehicle. Dude, would you come out of there, please, so that I can fight you? Yeah, and I'm not thrilled with the idea of giving up my car, especially because it has been my car for several years. And when we bought it, it was about $3,000. So I'm concerned about, if we have to buy a new car. I don't know that we're going to find such a nice one for such a small amount of money. And I'm trying to put back all the COVID support money and trying to save that up so that if my car does die, I'll be able to afford, something, even if it's not a really nice car, just so I can keep doing my job and all that good stuff. So yeah, and then this week we had a lot of snow, of course. This is something I brought up multiple times over the last, few weeks on the channel. We've been dealing with snow basically every week for probably 3 weeks now, and there's no signs of that stopping. I believe we're supposed to get another 3 inches on tonight. No, Monday. So it's Sunday as I record this. So Monday night we're supposed to get another 3 inches or so, and then allegedly on Saturday we're supposed to get another, not like huge snowstorm, but probably an appreciable amount of several inches. So not super thrilled about that, but it does mean that ideally most of the week will be clear. I think we're supposed to get rain throughout the week instead of snow. So because of that, I should have a little bit more free time. I've talked about it enough. I don't think we need to belabor it, but when the snow, like when there's a storm, it really derails my life by making my job harder, and all the digging out of the vehicles and just all the work that goes into being able to exist basically during a snowstorm. So it really slows things down. And I know, of course, that many people are dealing with much worse situations than I am. Specifically, Texas, was under a lot of strain over the last couple of weeks. And I don't know how many viewers I have from Texas, but there's probably at least one of you out there. Just statistically, there might be someone out there who's from Texas. Hopefully you're doing well, although I suppose you might not have power yet to even watch this, so who knows. And yeah, just snow really derailed things last week, and just life in general. I'm not feeling very happy right now. Last week I felt so optimistic. I got the raise and things with my brother were going well, and I just felt like, oh, maybe finally things are kind of breaking. Maybe I can kind of live a normal life for a little while. And then, it's just crazy how quick it turns on you, like things with my brother were going well, and then he lost his job and started acting pretty erratic again, and just a little concerned that we're slipping back into that spot where he was, mistreating people and being disrespectful and things like that. I'm just worried we're going back to that since he lost his job, because having a job is so important to keeping someone stable, because it gives them a routine and all that stuff. And with COVID, so many people have lost their routines, and it's actually taking a huge toll on their mental health and social interactions and things like that. So with my brother, I'm worried without a job that he's backsliding. Like the other night, he went out with friends and just didn't come home. And then when he came home, basically I got up at like 2 in the afternoon and he was sleeping. And then I went to work and I did my whole day. And I came home from work and it was like 7 a.m. and he was still sleeping. And I was like, man, he slept for like 16 hours, which is something he used to do when he was high all the time. So it just scared me a little bit. And then his behavior, just him moving around the house, in and out of the house and stuff, it's very reminiscent of when he wasn't doing well. So I'm starting to get a little worried about the way he looks at us and is acting. So it's pretty crazy. A week ago I was feeling really optimistic about things with him, and now I'm starting to get really worried again, and I just don't want things to go back to the way they were. It's just been so bad lately, and I don't want it to be that way, you know. I want to have a normal a normal life. I don't know. Well, you got me with your motorcycle. It's just I don't know, you know. And then this week too, I've just been feeling really down about like YouTube stuff, and I don't know, all kinds of things right now. I'm just not happy. Like last week I didn't get very much done, you know, just throughout the week and whatnot. And I looked at the YouTube channel. I haven't recorded a YouTube video since Monday last week, and it's Sunday now. And on the one hand, it feels really good because I basically didn't do anything this week. I just relaxed and unwinded. I took care of myself. You know, I made sure I was eating real food and bathing and trying to stay, you know, healthy mentally, which is really important. But then on the other hand, I look at YouTube and I'm like, man, I didn't accomplish anything this week. I'm supposed to be working to progress the channel, working to grow on YouTube. I had someone today bring up finances and ask me about finances with YouTube. And I just was like disappointed in myself because basically I still have done nothing. I haven't moved forward. I haven't formed the business. I'm not producing content really, which is like so crucial to growing on YouTube. And I know a lot of people don't want to hear about YouTube, but like, I don't know, I should be producing content, right? You don't grow if you don't produce content. And I just haven't been, and I feel like, I don't know, just disappointed in myself. And then when I did my experimental cataclysm video this week, I actually messed up and put a change in it that had later been reverted. And then I woke up to someone in my comments being like, this is not correct, you know, you screwed up. Which they weren't like super rude or anything, but I felt so disappointed that I had screwed up, you know, what is basically my biggest series that everyone watches. And I had to scramble, like within an hour of finding out about it, I had deleted that section of the video. I had made a follow-up video to like alert people like, hey, I messed this up. And everyone was really nice about it, you know. It was like, oh, it happens, you know, you make mistakes, it's not a big deal. But to me, that like ruined my whole day because I was so disappointed in myself. Like, oh, you can't, like literally all week you made one video, you know, and you couldn't even do that right. And I was just so depressed over it. And I know, like, to most people probably sounds stupid, but I just felt so dumb, you know, like, and that too, because like, I don't know, 200 people, 300 people over the next couple of days will see that video. And I just made a fool of myself, you know? I don't know. No one's gonna like hearing this, but like, man, I just hate myself sometimes. And I just feel like I can't do anything right. I was just so disappointed when that happened. And I know, you know, people keep saying like, oh, it's not a big deal, don't even worry about it. But I just expect better of myself, and I'm not really, I don't know. I don't know. YouTube is like, I have all these ideas where I feel like, oh, I have things I want to do, things that I think would be cool, that I think people would like, and then I fail to execute every time, you know? Like this week, I didn't record any videos, but I did work on making some assets for a video series I wanted to make. I was doing some artwork, and like, it's never gonna amount to anything. Like, I looked at the art today and was like, this is trash. You just wasted hours and hours of your life making artwork that no one's ever gonna see because it's garbage and you're bad at what you do. You know, the writing stuff that I was supposed to be doing, I look at it and I'm just like, it's trash. Why did you think anyone would care about this? Why are you wasting time doing this? And I know, like, I'm my harshest critic, right? That's true of everyone. Everyone kind of has that take on themselves where they think like, oh, I can't, everything I touch is not good enough. But I don't know. I get so disappointed in myself and feel so down. Like, I'm definitely right now, like, I'm dealing with some depression, which is not anything new on the channel, but like, I'm really unhappy. You know, like last week I took basically the whole week off because of like snow and just work stuff kind of came up, and I had stuff to do. So I basically took a week off of YouTube, and it was nice to relax, you know? Like I said, I did some art stuff, and I did do the experimental Cataclysm video, but like, for the most part, I just spent every day just kind of watching TV, playing games, unwinding a little bit, you know, in the moments that I did have free time. And I just wasn't really even satisfied with it. I just felt, I don't know. I don't know what I'm talking about. Let's not talk about it. What else? What else is going on I can tell you about? Not much has happened over the last week. It's been a pretty basic week. I don't know. I'm definitely depressed, I guess, is the takeaway here. I just don't feel... I don't know. I don't know how normal people... I say this all the time. I don't know how normal people do it. Because, like, that's something that I felt my whole life. You know, when I would be depressed, I have some older family members that definitely do not understand depression. So I would say things like, you know, I'm really sad, and like they didn't understand that, like, hey, depression's mental illness. It's, I mean, maybe not mental illness, but it's like, you know, a mental issue. It's not something that is just, oh, you're sad. It's actually a significant thing that derails your life. But so I have older family members who don't understand that. So when I was young and I would talk about being miserable all the time and how sad I was and how lonely I felt and stuff like that, they would just say like, oh, everyone feels that way. You just learn to deal with it. And so a lot of my life, I've always felt like when I'm sad and stuff, I feel like I feel guilty for feeling sad, because it's like, well, everyone feels this way. You just don't handle it right. You know, if that makes sense. It's my shortcoming. Like, if I were a stronger person mentally, if I had more willpower, if I was a stronger willed individual, I wouldn't be dealing with this. And some of that comes from my family saying stuff like that, but also that's part of the depression, is feeling like, you know, this isolating thing is your fault, you know. Not to dump a bunch of crap on you, and, you know, but not to be super heavy in a random video game video, but I don't know. It's something I think about, you know. When I get sad, I just feel like if I were stronger, this wouldn't be an issue, which I know is nonsense. Like, if someone in my, like, if you're listening to this and you're like, yeah, I feel that way too, that's wrong. It's not you're not weak. That's not what it's about. You know, that's what depression is, you know. Don't feel like you're less than just because you know, struggle with depression. So I know that, you know, if I were talking to someone else, that's the advice I would give them. But when it's me, it just feels so personal, and like I'm a failure and it's my shortcoming, you know. I don't know. Which I'm sure everyone who has depression would say similar things, you know. But it's just, it's been a rough week. I just feel bad. Feel pretty unhappy in general. Valentine's Day didn't help, you know. There was a girl I was talking to for a while. We were flirty and stuff, and then it just kind of became apparent that, you know, she's not interested in me in that way, which is fine, you know. It's not a big deal. It just is, you know, you get in a habit of flirting with someone on a regular basis, or, you know, they make you feel pretty good and stuff, and then you find out like, oh, well, they're not actually interested in you. Maybe they were just being nice, or maybe they're just naturally flirty or whatever. And you just, I don't know. That bummed me out pretty good earlier in the week. That stuck with me. I don't usually get upset over Valentine's Day. I don't like being alone, for sure. It was worse when I was young. When I was young, my identity was really closely tied to having a relationship. Like, it validated me. Like, oh, well, if I have a girlfriend, that means I'm lovable. It means I'm not a horrible person like I think I am. So when I was young, you know, Valentine's Day and having a girlfriend was really important to me. But now, it doesn't bother me too much. So I was a little surprised that it actually upset me this week to, I don't know. Just felt, I guess, the loneliness, which for the most part I don't really think about. I don't feel that lonely most of the time, but every now and then, you know, there's a reminder that you're alone, and it's just a bummer. Anyway, We're probably close to wrapping this up. I just wanted to play something for a little while. Our intention was not to play this until we beat the game, which I probably should have pointed out at the top of the episode, because now people are going to be mad expecting to see me play through Streets of Rage 2. We're doing okay. I don't think we've lost a life yet, but we're really not where we want to be. I really don't feel like I've been performing super great in the game. I don't think I've ever beaten Streets of Rage 2 without cheating. I remember being a kid and I cheated with a Game Shark to get to the final level and stuff, and to have infinite lives. I don't think I've ever beaten it on my own. The elevator fight, like, this is a little deep cut for those of you who play the game and know what I'm talking about. There's an elevator that leads to the final boss, basically in like the office building or whatever that is supposed to be. And in that elevator fight, it's basically really cramped quarters, and they throw like every boss in the game at you so that you have to fight them all again. I can make it through the elevator, but as soon as I get to the final boss fight, I'm usually so like depleted that I get myself murdered, which is not great. So we've got a floaty Giger head. Definitely Giger ripoff here. Everything back in this time period, like the 80s and early 90s, was like everybody wanted to be Alien. Like Contra has the Alien section. You know, every video game wanted to have like a Giger style monster background or boss fight or whatever. So anyway, I think we're gonna wrap this. This isn't even the final boss. There's like that flippy guy whose name I can't remember. I think we're gonna die here, by the way, if we take another hit or two. Anyway, I think we're probably about ready to wrap this. Everyone, I don't know if this was a good update or not. I definitely feeling off, which I'm sure you can probably feel in the commentary, is that I'm just not doing super well. And honestly, there's not like a clear-cut reason. Usually when I'm feeling really depressed, I can usually tie it back to a specific event that really hurt me this week. And this week I can't really pick one thing that really did it to me. I should have had a good week. You know, I was relaxing most of the week and taking time for myself. I should have felt pretty good, and I didn't. I found that I feel worse now than I did a week ago, which is the opposite of what you would expect to happen. So I don't know, you know, and I don't know what people will make of that. You know, people always try to give me advice. You know, whenever I talk about stuff on the channel, people will leave me a comment and be like, oh, you know, this worked for me, you should try this, or hey, have you tried, you know, doing this? And honestly, like, and I appreciate the feedback, don't get me wrong, I appreciate that people take the time to respond to me, but honestly, it's not really about that. I'm never really looking for advice. It's more like, I don't know what to say. Anyway, I think this has turned out to be a terrible update video. Hopefully you enjoyed watching a little bit of Streets of Rage 2. This game is fantastic. The Sega, what's it called? I'm gonna look, see what this is called. Pause the game. The Sega Mega Drive, what is it? Sega Mega Drive Classics. No, what a terrible name. Yeah, Sega Mega Drive and Genesis Classics is available on Steam. It's frequently on sale on like Fanatical or Humble Bundle. You can usually get it for, I think I bought it at a higher price. It was like $12 for the huge collection, and then I saw it on sale a little while after that. It was like $7 or something like that. And I'm not sure how many games it has. I think it's like 50 games or something like that. I would encourage you to get it. It's one of the only ways to play a legal version of a lot of these games. I know they send out bundles for like the Xbox. Occasionally they'll put out bundles for that. But on PC, as far as I know, this is the only way you can legally play something like Streets of Rage 2. So would encourage you to check that out. It's frequently on sale. Don't pay full price. It's 58 items in the collection. So anyway, I think that's it. Everybody, thank you for watching. Hopefully you had a good time watching. Sorry about my general attitude. I've just been dealing with a lot of like a malaise lately. So yeah, okay. So I'll be back in the future with more content. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.